y'all, and happy Thursday. I wanted to hop on here and talk to you all about a question that I'm getting a lot from my buyers here lately. So the question that I'm getting is, Jennifer, does it make more sense for us to buy a house in Kentucky or buy a house in Tennessee? Great question. So, you know that we live right on the state line. Some people prefer to buy a house in Kentucky, others in Tennessee for whatever reasons. The reasons vary. But when we have soldiers PCS into the area, they're not familiar with other state a lot of times. So, they're not sure what state to choose. So, what I normally do is I start with more bang for your buck. So, if you purchase a home in Kentucky, you're going to get more bang for your buck. You can take $250,000, $300,000 and get something with a larger lot, a bigger home, a newer home in Kentucky than you are in Tennessee. And the reason for that is going to be demand. Demand in Clarksville, Tennessee looks different than in Hopkinsville, Kentucky or Oak Grove, Kentucky. It's also closer to hospitals, shopping, Nashville, all of the things. So you're going to pay more to live in Clarksville when it comes to home prices. However, that does not mean that your mortgage will be less. And what I mean is, you have income tax in Kentucky that you don't have in Tennessee. So it's 5% Kentucky, it's 0% in Tennessee. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those numbers if you choose to live in Kentucky. Because no matter if you work in Tennessee but live in Kentucky, you still have to pay those income taxes. Also, you want to look at resale value and the market. So if you're purchasing a home and you plan to PCS in 5 years, or you plan to sell and buy something else somewhere else, then you want to look at resale value. So your resale value is going to be a lot more in Tennessee than it is in Kentucky due to demand. There's more people that are looking to move to Clarksville than it is to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So the demand drives the prices up. So you'll get, your resale value is going to be better in Tennessee. Also, you want to look at home insurance. So home insurance, things like that, can be more expensive in Kentucky than it is in Tennessee. You also want to look at utilities. I've noticed that utility companies, especially in Oak Grove, Kentucky, tend to run a little bit more than Tennessee prices. So you want to look at all of that because that's what's going to matter when you pay your monthly bills. Just because you're getting a house for cheaper when it comes to the price does not mean your monthly payment will be cheaper. So make sure that you're speaking with your insurance agents. Ask them about your home insurance. What would it be per month if I were to purchase this home? And you can get a preliminary or an estimate on home insurance. You also want to think about long term. Do you plan to keep this house for several years, or do you need to move in 4 or 5 years? That is going to matter. Also, utilities. If you are purchasing your very first home and your finances are pretty strict, you write them down every month, you know every dollar that you're going to pay, the utilities are going to matter because they could be significantly more in Kentucky in some areas than they are in Tennessee. And then sometimes that can change, that's not always the case, but in this market, that is the case. So make sure you're looking at all of the numbers. If you have any more questions or concerns, if you have questions about the market, if you have questions about living in Kentucky versus Tennessee, you can always reach out to me. I am licensed in both Kentucky and Tennessee. So text me, call me, 270-839-5174. Thanks, bye.